Welcome to English Listening Practice Daily. This episode is designed to help advanced learners of English enhance their listening skills through real-life conversations and practical language use. Today, we will take you through a variety of situations that are common in daily life, helping you build fluency and confidence in your communication. Listening to natural conversations is one of the best ways to train your ear and pick up the nuances of English. Let's start by imagining a typical morning. You wake up, stretch, and get ready to start your day. Perhaps you exchange a few words with a family member or a roommate. You might hear phrases like, "Did you sleep well?" Or, "What's on your schedule today?" These simple interactions are essential for building rapport and maintaining relationships, yet they can be challenging if you're not familiar with natural conversational patterns. By practicing these exchanges, you'll be able to respond more effortlessly in similar real-life situations. Now, think about ordering breakfast at a cafe. Imagine stepping up to the counter and saying, "Could I get a coffee with almond milk and a croissant, please?" The person taking your order might ask, "Would you like anything else?" Or, "Is that for here or to go?" These are typical questions you'll hear in such contexts. Listening closely to how people phrase their sentences and respond politely is key to mastering these interactions. Later in the day, you might find yourself commuting to work. On a crowded train or bus, you might hear someone ask, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Or, "Do you know if this stops at Green Street?" These small exchanges often require quick thinking and clear responses. Practicing how to ask and answer such questions will boost your confidence in navigating public spaces. In English-speaking environments, in the workplace, conversations take on a different tone. Small talk with colleagues might include questions like, "How was your weekend?" Or, "Did you catch the latest episode of that show?" These interactions not only help break the ice but also build stronger professional relationships. Being able to respond with phrases like, "It was great, I went hiking," or, "Yes, wasn't the ending surprising?" can make you feel more connected and engaged in your work environment. As the day comes to an end, you might unwind by running errands or shopping for groceries. Imagine asking a store clerk, "Could you tell me where the organic produce is?" Or responding to, "It's right next to the dairy section." These everyday tasks may seem mundane, but they are excellent opportunities to practice your language skills in a low-pressure setting. Paying attention to tone, phrasing, and word choice in such situations can make a difference in your overall fluency. Finally, as evening falls, you might relax at home with friends or family. Conversations might revolve around planning a movie night, sharing stories about your day, or even discussing tomorrow's schedule. Engaging in these casual discussions helps you become comfortable with informal language and idiomatic expressions, which are a crucial part of becoming proficient in English. This episode is packed with practical examples and insights to help you tackle a wide range of daily scenarios. Let's dive deeper into these conversations and explore how to respond naturally and confidently in English. Let's think about a scenario where you're dining at a restaurant. Imagine walking in, being greeted by the host, and being asked, "Do you have a reservation?" If you do, you might reply, "Yes, it's under your name." If not, you could say, "No, but do you have a table for two available?" Once seated, the server might ask, "Can I get you started with something to drink?" Or, "Are you ready to order?" Or, "Would you like a few more minutes?" Listening carefully to such questions helps you respond smoothly. For instance, you could reply, "I'll have water, please." Or, "We need a few more minutes, thank you." During the meal, you may want to ask for something. For example, if the table is missing cutlery, you might say, "Excuse me, could I get a fork, please?" Or, if you want a recommendation, "What dish would you recommend?" These moments provide an opportunity to practice making polite requests, a vital skill in English communication. After finishing your meal, you'll likely hear, "Would you like to see the dessert menu?" Or, "Can I get you anything else?" Knowing how to respond to these questions, whether with a simple, "No, thank you," or, "Yes, I'd like to see the dessert menu," can make your dining experience smoother. Now, let's picture yourself shopping for clothes. You walk into a store, and a sales assistant approaches, asking, "Can I help you find something?" A good response might be, "Yes, I'm looking for a formal shirt." Or, no, I'm just browsing, thank you. If you need a different size, you could ask, do you have this in a medium? Or, is this available in a different color? These interactions may seem straightforward, but they are excellent opportunities to refine your speaking skills in a context that's both practical and common. When it comes to more formal situations, like attending an interview, your responses become more structured. For example, when asked, "Can you tell me about yourself?" you might say, "Sure, I have a background in marketing and have been working in the field for 5 years. In my previous role, I managed a team of 6 and developed successful campaigns for several clients." Practicing such answers not only improves your fluency, but also prepares you for high-stakes conversations where clarity and confidence are key. Let's also explore social events, like parties or networking gatherings. Imagine being introduced to someone and hearing, "Hi, I'm Name, it's nice to meet you." A common and polite response would be, "Hi, I'm your Name, nice to meet you too." To keep the conversation going, you could ask, "How do you know host's name?" Or, "What do you do for work?" These types of interactions are invaluable for building relationships and expanding your conversational range. Traveling abroad provides another rich context for listening practice. At the airport, you might hear announcements like, "Flight 452 to New York is now boarding at gate 15, or questions at the check-in counter, such as, "Do you have any checked luggage?" Understanding these phrases and knowing how to respond, for example, "Yes, I have one suitcase," or "No, just to carry on," makes your travel experience far more manageable. While sightseeing, asking locals for directions, such as, "How do I get to the nearest subway station?" or, "Could you recommend a good restaurant nearby?" can enhance your language skills while also giving you practical knowledge. Picture yourself at a community event, perhaps a festival or a local market. As you walk around, you might overhear conversations like, "Do you know where they're selling handmade jewelry?" Or, "The food stalls are amazing this year, aren't they?" These casual exchanges are rich with opportunities to observe how people naturally interact. If someone strikes up a conversation with you, they might start with, "What brings you here today?" Or, "Have you been to this event before?" Responding with, "I heard about it from a friend and I thought I'd check it out." Or, "Yes, I come every year. It's always a lot of fun." Can make you feel more connected and engaged with the people around you. Now imagine attending a workshop or seminar. The speaker might begin with, "Thank you all for coming today. We're excited to share some valuable insights." During the session, you could hear questions like, "Does anyone have any experience with this topic?" Or, "Are there any questions before we move on?" If you want to participate, you could say something like, "Yes, I've worked on a similar project and I found that." Or, "I have a question about the example you shared earlier." Speaking up in these settings is a great way to practice presenting your ideas clearly and effectively. Let's transition to a scenario where you're navigating a healthcare setting. For instance, visiting a doctor's office. You might begin the conversation with the receptionist saying, "I have an appointment at 10 a.m. with Dr. Smith." The receptionist could ask, "Could you please fill out this form?" Or, "Can I see your ID and insurance card?" These routine exchanges are essential for ensuring everything runs smoothly. When you see the doctor, they might ask, "What brings you in today?" Or, "Can you describe your symptoms?" Clear responses like, "I've been experiencing a headache for the past 3 days, and it's not going away." Or, "I'm here for my annual checkup," can help you communicate effectively and receive the care you need. Another common situation is attending a gym or fitness class. When you arrive, you might hear someone say, "Hi, are you here for the yoga class?" Or, "The spinning class starts in 10 minutes. Have you signed up?" If you're new, you might ask, "Could you tell me where the lockers are?" Or, "Is it okay if I join without prior registration?" During the class, the instructor might say, "Make sure to keep your back straight," or, "Take a deep breath and hold the pose." These instructions can help you not only follow along, but also improve your ability to understand specific directions in English. In a more social setting, like a book club, the conversation could revolve around discussing a novel. Someone might start by asking, "What did you think of the main character's decisions?" Or, "Did you find the ending surprising?" Responding with, I thought the main character's choices were relatable, but I didn't agree with all of them. Or, the ending caught me off guard, but it made sense in hindsight. Allows you to practice expressing complex thoughts and opinions. These discussions also expose you to different vocabulary and sentence structures, which can enrich your language skills. If you're planning to attend a concert or theater performance, the interactions can be equally engaging. While purchasing tickets, you might hear, would you prefer seats in the front row or further back? Or, the show starts at 7:30. Please make sure to arrive early. Responding with, I'd like seats in the middle section, please. Or, thank you, I'll be there on time. Helps you handle these exchanges smoothly. During intermission, someone might ask, what do you think of the performance so far? To which you could reply, it's incredible. The actors are so talented. Or, the music is amazing, I'm really enjoying it. Let's shift to an academic setting, such as attending a university lecture or participating in a study group. Imagine sitting in a lecture hall filled with students, and the professor starts with, good morning, everyone. Today, we'll be covering advanced theories in sociology. During the lecture, you might hear phrases like, this concept is crucial because it underpins many modern societal structures. Or, if you look at the chart on slide 3, you'll notice a clear trend. As a listener, taking notes and paying close attention to these explanations can improve your ability to process detailed and technical information in English. Now, let's consider participating in a study group discussion afterward. Someone might begin with, what did you think about the professor's explanation of social dynamics? You could respond with, I thought it was fascinating, especially the part about how social norms evolve over time. What did you think? This opens up a dialogue, allowing you to practice not just listening, but also contributing meaningfully to a conversation. Another group member might say, I struggled with the example about economic stratification. Can someone explain it differently? Here, you could step in with, sure, I think the professor meant that economic divisions influence social mobility in ways we might not immediately notice, like access to education or job opportunities. Let's now transition to a professional environment, like a networking event. Imagine being surrounded by professionals in your industry, and someone approaches you with, hi, I'm Sarah, a project manager at Green Tech Solutions. What do you do? You might respond with, hi, Sarah, it's great to meet you. I'm Alex, and I specialize in digital marketing for startups. What projects are you currently working on? This type of back and forth helps you develop confidence in introducing yourself and discussing your career in a professional setting. Throughout the event, you might hear phrases like, what's your take on the latest industry trends? Or, have you attended this conference before? Practicing responses such as, I think the shift towards sustainability is really exciting, or, yes. This is my second year attending, and I've found it very insightful, can prepare you for real-life networking situations. Now imagine you're invited to a dinner party with a group of acquaintances. The host might greet you with, welcome, I'm so glad you could make it, can I take your coat? You could reply, thank you for inviting me. Your home is lovely. As you mingle with the other guests, someone might say, the food smells amazing, doesn't it? To which you could respond, absolutely, I'm curious to know what's on the menu tonight. These types of informal interactions are perfect opportunities to practice conversational English, particularly when it comes to small talk and expressing appreciation or interest. During the dinner, the conversation might shift to more engaging topics, like travel. Someone might share, I recently visited Italy, and the food there was out of this world. You could respond with, that sounds incredible. Did you have a favorite dish? As the discussion continues, another guest might ask, where's the most interesting place you've traveled to? This is your chance to share a story, such as, last year I went to Japan, and I was amazed by how rich the culture is. The cherry blossoms in Kyoto were breathtaking, and I even tried making sushi during a cooking class at IT was such a memorable experience. These narratives not only help you practice storytelling in English, but also make you an active participant in the conversation. Let's also explore a situation where you are volunteering for a community project, like organizing a charity event. The team leader might start with, thank you all for being here today. Our goal is to prepare care packages for the local shelter. You might hear instructions such as, please divide into teams of 2 and start by sorting the donated items into categories, food, clothing, and toiletries, responding with, got it, I'll start with the clothing items, or asking for clarification. Like, should we include winter accessories in the clothing section? Helps you engage actively and ensures you're following directions properly. Let's now imagine a more formal scenario, such as attending a job interview. This is a setting where every word and expression counts, and your ability to listen carefully and respond thoughtfully can make a significant impact. The interviewer might start with a typical question like, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? This question is an open invitation and a 35% increase in their customer engagement. I'm particularly skilled at combining creativity with strategy to deliver impactful designs, and I'm excited about the opportunity to bring this expertise to your company. The interviewer might follow up with, what would you say is your greatest strength? A detailed and thoughtful reply might be, I'd say my greatest strength is my ability to adapt quickly and think creatively under pressure. For instance, in my previous job, there was a situation where a client needed a complete redesign of their marketing materials within an extremely tight deadline. Instead of seeing this as a challenge, I viewed it as an opportunity to streamline processes and focus on key priorities. I collaborated with my team, divided the workload efficiently, and delivered a product that exceeded the client's expectations, all while meeting the deadline. This experience taught me the importance of clear communication and teamwork in achieving ambitious goals. Another common interview question might be, can you describe a time you faced a difficult situation and how you handled it? You could respond by painting a vivid picture of the scenario. Of course, in my previous role, there was a time when two team members had conflicting ideas about the direction of a project, which led to delays in progress. As the team lead, I felt it was my responsibility to mediate and resolve the issue. I scheduled a meeting with both members, allowing each of them to explain their perspectives fully. I then identified the common ground between their ideas and proposed a hybrid solution that incorporated elements of both approaches. Not only did this resolve the conflict, but it also strengthened team morale and led to a highly successful project outcome. From this experience, I learned the importance of active listening, empathy, and finding solutions that align with everyone's strengths. Beyond interviews, let's imagine a scenario where you're participating in a panel discussion or giving a presentation. Perhaps you're asked to your professional journey at an industry event. You might begin with, thank you for inviting me to share my story today. I'd like to start by reflecting on how my career has evolved over the years. When I began as a junior designer, I was primarily focused on honing my technical skills. Over time, I realized the importance of understanding client needs and market trends, which led me to take on more strategic roles. One of my most rewarding experiences was leading a cross-functional team to develop a campaign that not only met but surpassed client expectations. It was during this project that I discovered my passion for mentoring others and fostering collaboration. As the discussion continues, someone in the audience might ask, what advice would you give to someone just starting in this field? You could respond thoughtfully with, my biggest piece of advice is to stay curious and never stop learning. In this field, technology and trends evolve rapidly, so it's crucial to keep up to date by attending workshops, networking with peers, and experimenting with new tools. Equally important is building relationships and seeking out mentors who can guide you. Early in my career, I had a mentor who not only taught me technical skills but also helped me understand the value of communication and empathy in working with clients. That guidance has been invaluable, and I try to pass it on whenever I can. Now, let's turn to a more casual but equally important scenario, meeting someone new in a social or professional setting. Imagine you're at a networking event and someone approaches you with, hi, I'm Chris. I work in software development, what about you? This is your chance to introduce yourself with confidence and engage in a meaningful conversation. A great response might be, hi Chris, it's nice to meet you. I'm a project manager specializing in creative industries. I work closely with designers, developers, and marketers to bring ideas to life. It's fascinating to hear that you're in software development. What kind of projects do you typically work on? By showing interest in the other person's work and sharing a bit about your own, you create a positive impression and lay the groundwork for a fruitful exchange. In a professional setting, there are many situations where effective communication is key. For example, if you're discussing a team project and your colleague asks, "How is the project coming along?" You might respond confidently with, "Things are going well, thank you for asking. We've made good progress so far and the design team has completed the initial drafts but we're currently reviewing them and should be able to meet the deadline. However, we'll need to incorporate the client's feedback in the next stage to ensure it aligns with their vision." If the conversation shifts to challenges, you could say, "One challenge we faced is ensuring alignment across departments. To address this, I've scheduled a meeting to clarify expectations and keep everyone on the same page." In another scenario, if you're giving a presentation, you could start by saying, "Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm presenting our new marketing strategy for the upcoming campaign, which focuses on a multi-channel approach, including social media, email marketing, and influencer partnerships." A clear and confident tone is crucial for engaging your audience. And when receiving feedback, whether it's from a manager or a colleague, it's important to respond with professionalism. "Thank you for your feedback. I'll make sure to address those areas and would appreciate any further clarification to ensure I make the improvements." Lastly, in situations where conflict arises at work, like when you disagree with a colleague, try saying, "I see your point and I think we can benefit from discussing both approaches to find a solution that works for everyone." This approach emphasizes collaboration and problem-solving. In more casual professional settings, such as small talk in the office kitchen, you might respond to a question like, "How was your weekend?" by saying, "It was great. I spent time hiking with friends, which was a nice way to unwind. How about you?" This shows a willingness to engage and helps build rapport. Each of these scenarios provides an opportunity to practice your English communication skills, helping you feel more confident in professional interactions. Imagine you're in a situation where your boss asks you to handle a client complaint. You might respond with, "I completely understand your concern and I'm truly sorry to hear that you had an issue with our service. My priority is to make sure you're completely satisfied, so I'd like to gather more details so I can address the situation effectively. Could you tell me exactly what happened and if there's anything specific you feel we can improve? Once I have a better understanding, I'll work with the relevant team to find a solution as quickly as possible." This response demonstrates empathy, professionalism, and a willingness to take responsibility while focusing on finding a solution. If the conversation continues and your boss asks, "How do you handle stressful situations?" you might reply with, "In stressful situations, I try to stay calm and focused. For example, during a recent project, we were running behind schedule and the client was becoming increasingly frustrated. Instead of panicking, I took a step back and assessed the situation. I prioritized tasks, delegated work effectively to my team members, and communicated transparently with the client about the progress and expected timelines. This allowed us to not only meet the deadline, but also deliver a high-quality result, which ultimately strengthened our relationship with the client." I believe that staying organized and keeping a level head during stressful times is crucial for managing the situation effectively. Now let's move to a more casual scenario where you're meeting someone for the first time at a networking event. Someone might approach you and ask, "What do you do?" A natural response might be, "I'm a project manager and I specialize in managing creative projects from start to finish. I work with designers, developers, and marketers to ensure everything runs smoothly and on time." It's always exciting to see a project come to life, especially when it exceeds expectations. How about you? What field are you in? By sharing what you do and asking them about their work, you initiate a two-way conversation that fosters engagement and helps build rapport. Next, imagine you're at a client meeting discussing the details of a new project. The client might ask, "Can you give us an update on the timeline and the next steps?" You could respond with, "Of course, the first phase of the project is already underway and we're currently gathering all the necessary materials. Our team is working to finalize the initial concepts and we aim to have those ready for your review by next Friday. Once we've received your feedback, we'll move into the next phase, which involves refining the designs and getting everything ready for implementation. We're confident that we'll be able to stay on track and deliver the final product on schedule." In this response, you show clarity, organization, and your ability to manage timelines effectively. Key qualities in any professional setting. Let's now explore a situation where you're providing constructive feedback to a colleague. Perhaps a team member submits a report that needs some revisions. You might say, "Thank you for submitting the report. I can see that you've put a lot of effort into it and I appreciate your hard work. However, there are a few areas that I think could be improved to better align with the project objectives. For example, the data analysis section could benefit from more in-depth insights and some of the conclusions could be clearer. If you'd like, we can go over it together and discuss ways to improve these areas. I'm confident that with a few adjustments, the report will be even stronger." This approach emphasizes collaboration, respects the colleague's work, and shows that you're invested in helping them improve rather than just pointing out mistakes. A slightly different scenario, let's say you're asked to give a speech at an industry conference. You might begin with, "Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today and to share insights about the evolving landscape of creative industries. I've been fortunate to work on several innovative projects throughout my career, and today I'll be discussing some of the most exciting trends that are shaping the future of design and marketing. I'll also share a few personal experiences that highlight the challenges we've faced and the strategies we've used to overcome them. I hope that by the end of this session, you'll leave with new ideas and a fresh perspective on how to approach your own work." This introduction provides a clear overview of your speech and engages the audience with a promise of valuable insights. Imagine you're in a situation where your boss asks you to handle a client complaint. You might respond with, "I completely understand your concern and I'm truly sorry to hear that you had an issue with our service. My priority is to make sure you're completely satisfied, so I'd like to gather more details so I can address the situation effectively. Could you please tell me exactly what happened and if there's anything specific you feel we can improve? Once I have a better understanding, I'll work with the relevant team to find a solution as quickly as possible." This response demonstrates empathy.